Hello, Mavs sickos. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. I am Kirk Henderson, joined today by Sudar Shan, one of my colleagues over at Mavs Moneyball. Josh, he and I talked and decided today was going to be a good day for him to not do this. And I think that on the one hand, he missed a game that would have been funny to talk about. On the other hand, I don't know. This is a fun one to talk about with somebody like you, Sudarshan, who makes the choice to get up and watch these games every day. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I think I might start the Tankathon watch a little bit earlier this season.
Well, it's funny. Did you see the post that went up on Mavs Moneyball just before the game? Did you see that?
I did not actually. I
So
have to go and check that out.
Well, so before the game, David Sanchez, one of our drafts guys, he's a volunteer for the site. A lot of you guys are.
Yeah.
You don't you write when you feel like it. So David hadn't gotten into WordPress yet, and somehow managed to publish an article. I really recommend looking through the Slack where he goes, so I didn't know if I pressed publish, it would publish. It was like, I'm dying on my phone laughing. But he did a profile of Kareem Lopez, who is, kind of likely to be one of the highest, Mexican-born players taken in the draft. So he's already thinking about that one. So rewind here. The Mavericks lost to the Detroit Pistons on Saturday night in Mexico City, 122-110. It was a interesting game because from the last time we talked to now, the Mavs finally actually gave Anthony Davis an injury designation, which was a grade 1 calf strain, which they say he's going to be out for 2 games, which I don't know why you do that. Like, why you do that?
Which if you're translating for AD, could be 2 months.
Well, I don't want to put look, I'm shitty as hell about AD sometimes because he just sort of the injury stuff frustrates me. The shot selection frustrates me, but we have experience with this as Mavs fans. We know what calf strains are a fickle beast, and it's just not fair to say, okay, he's going to be back in 2 games, because I would just much rather that get right, because when you're a football guy, you watch the NFL. So when we saw on the injury report that Anthony Davis had bilateral tendinopathy, so basically something wrong with both of his Achilles, and
bilateral Achilles tendinopathy.
And we're sitting there going, what? And it's listed as probable, and we're like, what?
No, why?
So he's out for a couple of games, and it's like you go into this one, and we knew the Mavericks were going to be without Lively already. Anthony Davis gets added to the mix. It's fine. Daniel Gafford comes back, which is nice, but unfortunately, this game sort of starts off, and the Mavericks look pretty good. They don't look terrible. They don't look. The offense was going well enough. The first quarter looked. They were hitting enough threes. They were keeping the Pistons, within check. Nobody was going off. And the Mavericks ended the first quarter up 30-27. And the only real problem I had with this game was in the second quarter, this extended 21-2 run, which I think in hindsight, if you're looking at the game, back and forth, that was when the Mavericks got punched in the mouth hard enough, and that came back to bite them. That was the stretch where they lost the game.
Yeah, credit to them. They responded with a 17-5 run to remain in the lead to end the half.
That's right, they did.
But yeah, what you said is right. I mean, Detroit actually closed the game on a 17-4 run. Oh.
So the Mavericks ended up going into halftime. I think they're up 2, or were they up 4?
Yep. It was 2.
It was a fun game. I mean, and you're watching the first half. I was on a live stream watching the show, and one of the guys in the first quarter said, "Man, this D'Angelo Russell guy really can't shoot. He's driving me crazy." And then, of course, he just proceeds to go nuts from 3-point land. And I mean, look, I've kind of had to make my peace with D'Angelo Russell, because he is far and away, I think, on a night in, night out basis. So he ended this game a -1, but he's been the team leader in plus minus for several games in a row now. And he finished the game with 31 points. He took 13 3-pointers. The last two were probably pretty ill-advised, but he kept Mavericks in the game.
If it wasn't for him, this would be a 20-point blowout.
That's right. That's right. So I have. Did I kind of like deeply roll my eyes at a couple of his shots? Yes, but that was by and large within what the Mavericks were doing. You know, the Pistons were kind of so thoroughly pantsing the Mavericks in the paint that the Mavericks had like no answers of their own, and so D'Lo was just kind of playing hero ball that was needed because a lot of the other Mavericks, you know, just within the starting lineup group, like did not show up at all. Like PJ Washington, even though he finished with like 6 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, he also he missed 10 shots. He missed all 6 of his 3. So it's when him and Cooper Flagg also like Cooper and PJ were a combined 6 of 27 from the floor. So when that happens, somebody's got to be making the shots. So Russell was fine. I was fine with Russell. I didn't really have any main complaints.
I mean, D'Lo is just ensuring we had the spirit of Tim Hardaway Jr. going on in Dallas at all times. D'Lo had the ultimate no, yes kind of shot profile with this game. But I mean, yeah, like you said, I think the issue wasn't with his scoring. The issue was with his passing. Like in the fourth quarter, he had some boneheaded turnovers. Like there was that one where they had, I think, 3 defenders on Gafford trying to overload the dribble handoff because they knew that was coming, and D'Lo still passed it, and lo and behold, it was a breakaway dunk. So, I mean, like you said, I think for 3 quarters the game was stop-start. It didn't have any real flow, but it was a good game, not just because the Mavs were in the lead. But in the fourth quarter, Detroit just turned everything up and ran away with it. It was...
I wish I would have had the Peacock broadcast. So I was watching through the in-arena feed. That's what, because I operate during the games. I watch on Playback, which is a kind of a live streaming service where you can watch games with me. And it was really painful where, and I had some other people tell me this happened when the NBA went to Australia. Like it was the most overproduced game. Anytime basketball wasn't being played, it was like somebody had injected cocaine into all the people in the crowd because they're just like, there was so much music and noise. And it was really disconcerting to have on in the background as I'm like taking notes, like in commercials and stuff like this. So it's just kind of the energy in the arena was really weird. The game got off to a 20-minute late start because of something to do with the shot clock. It was really weird. So it's like we're watching the third quarter and the game's just, it was a really big back and forth affair. Jalen Duren, I can't remember if we've mentioned him yet, but he just carved the Mavericks up from inside. And that was, let's see here. He finished 13 of 16.
And he did it in what, less than 30 minutes, right?
He fouled a ton. There's an argument to be made that this game probably should have been a bigger Pistons win earlier, just because I feel like they weren't really maximizing. I mean, this is a Pistons. They weren't really maximizing the Cade Cunningham minutes with him because Cade finished with a hilarious 18 assists and 1 turnover. And a lot of those were to Duren just for like dunks. Yeah. It was really something.
I mean, you posted it in the Slack, right? This game's recap is Jalen Duren dunk.
Just that's the recap. Like that is essentially how the Mavericks died on the vine. And I was, so it's like the fourth quarter kind of gets away from them again. You know, you mentioned like a couple of the D'Lo turnovers, which were really just sort of icing on the cake because it felt like his 3-pointers were keeping the Mavericks up. But I was waiting I was just sort of waiting for for something to go wrong, and it inevitably did, which then, that was the shooting for the Mavericks was the lipstick on the pig, as we say here in the United States. The Mavericks shot 16 of 45 from three. I cannot believe they took 45 threes out of 80 total shot attempts. It's just
they were 10 of 26 at the half.
Mm-hmm.
So they were actually, I think, close to 40%. And then they ended, basically they were 6 of 19 to finish the game, right?
And
but
almost all of that was like D'Lo.
Yeah. So if you take D'Lo out of that and his 7 of 13,
mm-hmm.
The Mavs were 9 of 32, which is 28%.
It's just that they just don't have the shooters for this. I don't think any Klay Thompson shots going in. It's just kind of the nature of where we end up. And so, the Mavericks just sort of ran out of steam. The 122 to 110 total reflects that. And I think that as far as like a game recap goes, that should be enough. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to kick us to a quick break. If you're listening on the feed, just hang tight, or on the live stream here, just hang tight, and we will be right back. Thank you so much for bearing with me and dealing. My longtime Mavs friend, Mr. Dodang, is in the chat. He asks, are we going to do a group therapy session? And the answer to that, Mr. Dang, is yes. I've done one after every game this season. I'm going to try to do it for as many games as possible. We've been kind of keeping them. Each show's been about, I don't know, this show's 25 minutes, 30 minutes. Then that show's been like 30 to 45 minutes. So it's been like a nice kind of in and out. I've been trying to really be cognizant of how I use our audience's time, because I know there are a lot of Mavs podcasts out there, and the fact that you all choose to spend time with this one means a lot to me. If you've not subscribed to the show, please consider doing so. If you are at all interested in directly supporting the show, there is a link in the comments to the video and in the podcast where you can, it does straight to PayPal. That way you don't, the super chats and stuff, while valued, they go, Google takes half that. So hang out after the show. Pseudo Shan and I are going to talk at least another 10 minutes or so, and then I'll post that link and we can start the second show. So, all right. So we did kind of a run through. We talked about elements of the game here. Can we
just talk about the points in the paint disparity? I know we touched on Duran and how he was scoring.
Please.
But Dallas got outscored by more than 40 points in the paint. So despite having Daniel Gafford back, who was on a minutes restriction and looked like a guy who hasn't had a training camp, playing in high altitude in Mexico City. The Mavs just got whooped in the paint. They tried switching to a zone to try stopping that, but I think after a while, Kate just started pulling them apart.
Yeah, and zone doesn't zone can confuse teams a little bit, but the Pistons have too many guys that sort of just like run into brick walls by a matter of their game. You got Duran, you got Isaiah, what's his name?
Stewart.
Isaiah Stewart, who will just run into things. Ron Holland, who is an absolute psychopath. And so it's like going zone against them doesn't really make a lot of sense over the long haul. And just that nearly 50 point, I think it ended up being like 46 point advantage in the paint is really something, because, and this is downhill from AD and Lively being out. So the Mavericks are going to have to win the paint battle, I think, a lot of times with the way their roster is structured. And we'll see what's so. Bringing on Matt Martinez, also of Mavs Moneyball fame is the correct term here. I'm going to take away there. Now I can see the top of my head. Matt was gleefully cackling at some of the bizarre statistics that came from this game. He's writing the stats post for the night. Matt, how you doing?
Doing great. How are y'all doing?
I'm really tired, but that was such a weird game that I don't want to say I enjoyed it. I never like it when the Mavericks lose, but it was such an odd, I feel like every game they've lost this year, they've lost in like different ways, where if D'Lo didn't shoot the lights out, this game would have been an absolute bloodbath, for example. So that was I thought I really thought for about 3/4 of the game they were going to be able to steal one from the Pistons. So I don't find myself super pissed off like I tend to get, at least not yet.
They derped the way out in the fourth quarter, so I don't think that's anything new that we've seen from these Mavericks.
Sure.
So we're not here to talk Game 7 of the World Series. I'll just see myself out.
Certainly could. I mean, the tension, like I was doing this live stream and my wife is about like 20 feet away, like audibly cursing every time a Blue Jay messed up. Not that she's a Blue Jays fan or anything. She's kind of like hates the Dodgers with like casual disdain. But it was a nice kind of dual watch having both of the games on. Before you popped on and Sudarshan wanted to talk about points in the paint, which was just a riot. I think we sort of owe it to the audience at least to what do we think of Cooper Flagg's game here? Because I think he's starting to really frustrate the less. How about this? Frustrate those who are less informed about like who Cooper is as before becoming a Maverick. If these 6 games, if these 6 games are your first experiences with Cooper Flagg, I can understand being a little So let's start with Matt first. Do you have anything that you really liked from Cooper this game that you think is like a building block point?
He was driving. He seemed to be aggressive with the ball in his hands. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I really don't want to get caught up in what did Cooper do on this given night or that given night, because put the ball in his hands is the mantra for his rookie season, and he's going to have games like this. And 6 games into the season, he is not the leader in the clubhouse for Rookie of the Year, as we all predicted. But he's doing some of the things that he needs to do. He's becoming acclimated with the NBA game, and his pure raw physicality is something that I'm always impressed with. But the shots are not falling.
I mean, this is a good. What do you think of this take? This is from Jacob in the chat, and he says, "I'm a little worried about Cooper's finishing around the basket. For his size, it's been pretty bad." And I want to give credence to that. I think yes, it has been pretty bad. Am I worried about it though? Not yet. No,
not particularly.
I mean, he missed a couple of lefties tonight where you could see he was about to pull his own hair out.
Yeah.
And
for
me, go ahead, Sudarshan.
It's a lot. I mean, again, I don't want to bring up the comparison between Luka and Flagg, but it's a lot like Luka's rookie year, right? I mean, there was that big jump that he made in the second year, but his first year was frustrating. And for me, the thing about Flagg is a weird dichotomy in his shot profile. He's excellent from taking these pull-up three-pointers and, like catch and shoot threes.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, I wouldn't say excellent. He's like a 35% plus shooter, which is not bad. He's an excellent free throw shooter. Not to jinx him, he still hasn't missed a free throw this season.
21 for 21, and then he was 11 for 11 in the preseason. Just a nice thing to hold on to.
Yeah, but I don't get it. His mid-range game is ass.
He did. The first couple of shots he took tonight looked like honestly, looked like some of the. I watch a lot of 9 and 10-year-old basketball, and I see some really rough shots. Like Cooper shot one from the right side that careened over the left, like it went off the backboard on the other side of the. It was like, oh no, what's that? But I will say, I think there's some there. I like when they get him attacking from the side. He got fouled on a move on the baseline where he had a little nifty spin. I just when he's kind of when I say the side, I sort of mean like around the area of the 3-point break where it goes from being a shorter shot to a longer shot. When he's operating out of the middle of the floor, it's a different feel. I feel like defenses kind of swarm on him, but when he's able to kind of isolate on the baseline a little more, I like what I'm seeing. I also like his willingness to pass. He's not a point guard in that kind of sense, but he sees the open man pretty well. And this is a building blocks thing. I think if you're very frustrated right now, I'm betting you're more frustrated at the Mavericks situation than you are the Flagg of it all. And this is a good this is a different comment, but one of our commenters said, I used to think the Vegas Mavs wouldn't happen, but it's making sense day by day. When I heard that, I briefly thought of like literal summer league Mavs, who when Cooper played in those 2 games, he's making all these nice passes to players they couldn't hit anything. And so it just every game's going to be a little different. You know, when 80 got hurt, when Lively got hurt, this is just going to be weird. It just is. We're not seeing the team as they've designed it. So even if you don't believe in the team as they've like drawn it up, if we don't get to see what their intentions are, it's kind of hard to really judge other than say, you know, they just don't have the right kinds of talent. I mean, I still think the team's very talented. It's like there's a lot resting on Cooper right now. And heading into the draft, even assuming he would be like a positive force for offense as a rookie, like I had like 12 points a game is what 12 to 14 points a game, and that's kind of where he's like. What is he doing right now? Let me just check here. He's at 13 and a half. Yeah, like this is like that's fine. Like he's not gonna score 25 points a game on this team. What are you doing?
Also the jump in physicality from the NCAA to the NBA is kind of insane, right?
Isaiah Stewart took his ass to the basket a few times, where Stewart was just like, "Get out of my way, boy."
Yeah, and on the defensive end, he has Osar Thompson who's actually defending him, which is you're not going to get that in college. It's
no way.
I mean, so I think a lot of his missed shots, particularly at the rim, are him adjusting to the physicality of the defenders. I mean, you're going up against Duran, Isaiah Stewart, Osar Thompson, Javonte Green. It's not an easy matchup. So it's not like, I mean, I am a little bit worried as to how he's shooting, but at the same time, we all knew his offense was a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
So
he had a long 2 just inside the 3-point line, kind of coming off a handoff. That was a beautiful pull up where I see the like. I don't know if you guys were Mavs fan. I mean, I think Matt was. I don't know if you were, Sudar Sham, but like when Dennis Smith would shoot the ball his rookie year, it was a big every fucking time he shot. Because he just didn't have the form. And Legler, I remember over the summer, was pretty critical of Cooper's form. But then it was also pretty clear that Legler didn't know that Cooper basically couldn't shoot 3 years ago. So let's just see where they get it by the end of the year. I mean, the free throws are extraordinarily indicative of good shooting process. Like you don't go 33 or 32 for 32 over the first preseason plus these games. Like that's not a jinx. Like of course he's going to miss one and he'll probably, but if he settles in as like an 85% free throw shooter, that's nuts. Like that's nuts. I would love that.
Yeah.
I think the frustration around it is, I think you'd mentioned it earlier, is the situation around him. Like it would be easier or it would be more forgivable or more understandable if you had an 18 or a 20 point per game or a guaranteed 5 assists per game kind of player around him. But right now you don't have that. You have PJ who will go off for 17 and then will miss 10 shots and then have just 6 points. You will have Clay who misses almost all his shots and then the next one he will have 11 points or whatever it is. You have, I mean, the only consistent players on this team so far, or the only consistent player, I suppose you could throw Brandon Williams in there, but Williams is not looking to get other people involved, and the other person is Max Christie, who was good. I mean, he had 5 assists in this game, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, these are like bench players who are giving you some sort of stability, but in the starting lineup, there is none of that, which
Right.
is not really conducive to seeing the best version of Cooper Flagg, I think.
Yes.
For sure.
Okay. I think this is a pretty good take. All right, we're closing in on 30 minutes. Let's go to Matt for one more thought that he hasn't gotten to express yet, and then we'll kick it back to Sudarshan for the same.
Did you guys already talk about just how absurd it is to see a point guard on one side go off for an 18-to-1 assist ratio?
Yes.
While the other point guard who was busy canning three-pointer after three-pointer suddenly just barfs it up and coughs it up 3 times down the stretch. Like, that is the dichotomy of how the game swung. One point guard is able to do this, the other point guard not so much.
So we did, and I
wonder who'd be able to help with that.
I wonder.
They'll be all right. I mean, they've got to get some of these starting minutes out different. Like, I just don't understand the logic of bringing both Williams and D'Lo off the bench. That's not for me. What about you, Sudarshan? What do you think? Anything else?
I mean, yeah, like you said, the starting lineup is a weird thing. They really need to sort this Klay Thompson thing out because, I mean, while he was the one who got the Mavs going in this game, his defense is just it's butt cheeks. It's practically non-existent at this point. So I know like starting Christie was more of a fact that AD wasn't playing. So if AD was in the game, they'd probably have Christie off the bench. But I mean, something needs to be done to bring some sort of organization on, at least to start the game.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, at least they ended up the first quarter up. I think before we go, my final parting shot is God bless you, Caleb Martin, for trying that.
That was bad.
Getting sent back at the rim quite like that was really something, because here's the thing. I was pretty shitty at the moment of the attempt. The attempt was actually pretty cool on replay. It's just Isaiah Stewart was there perfectly. And it's like, to get rejected like that sucks. Poor guy. Okay, so here's
comedy.
Yeah.
Here's that was
next.
Pure comedy, yeah.
This is my favorite. I think it might be my favorite play of the season, honestly. It's just such, because it's like, I just, with the Quentin Grimes of it all hanging out there and Martin just not being very good. It's like, that's such an exclamation point.
Quentin Grimes is trolling us, right? By saying the vibes are immaculate in Philadelphia.
Which they are. Just pissing me off. Okay, so here's what's going to happen next. I'm going to end this show. Matt and Sudarshan, if are welcome to hang out and listen, but I think Matt has to go write a stats post because it's 12:30. Ugh.
Stats is in.
Okay, see, look, you're just so good at this. If you will go help with the editing and scheduling tonight, since Josh is off, I would appreciate that. Sudarshan, thank you so much for hanging out. Everybody else, if you want to join our secondary show, that's going to be, I'm going to post that link here in just a minute. Everybody be good and look for the group therapy to go up probably Sunday afternoon. Then Josh and I'll be back on Monday night. Head on over to Mavs Moneyball. There's some good stuff over there. We will talk with you guys soon. Go Mavs. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pod Mavericks Group Therapy. I am Kirk Henderson, and this is a podcast which you can join. There is a if you're watching on the YouTube, we're here. It's about 12:30 on Sunday, November 2nd. If you want to join in that YouTube channel, there is a link to a StreamYard service. Basically, it's just like Zoom, where you can click in and basically come hang out with me. Let me know if there's anything that you want to talk about here. I can take questions for a few minutes. Game like this, super late night. I mean, we already had it. I saw my homie Brian hanging out in here. He might have popped out already. I see somebody trying to join, and so I'll try to filibuster for a little bit while that person figures out their connectivity issues. The Mavericks lost 122-110 to the Pistons. Kind of not a shocking game. Had some fun things. Had some alarming things, but not really anything that we didn't already know, so to speak. I think the Pistons probably could have beat us worse if Cade Cunningham had his outside shot going, but he was really just kind of wheeling and dealing and diming tonight, which was nice for him, not so much for the Mavericks. Mavericks shot 45% 45 attempts from three, which was really up for them in recent games. So, all right, we got my man Cowboy. What's going on, brother? How you doing, Brandon? Good to see you tonight.
Well, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm a little tired, but that's okay.
Yeah. Seems like us loyalists missed a heck of a World Series. So, what does that say about us, Kirk?
I had the game on. I did. I had it on in the background. I wasn't really paying too much of attention, but it was on there.
Yeah, honestly, man, I'm a diehard Mets fan. I'm a sore loser.
Eh.
Every year they get bounced, so I'm like, my season is done every year early. So,
I understand that. That I definitely understand.
and I'm honestly a sore loser Mavs fan too. So I watch it. I watch the playoffs begrudgingly, like, because I enjoy watching some teams. Like, I enjoy Cleveland and certain teams I just grew up watching. So
Sure.
I'll still watch if certain teams make it. But I don't know. It seems like it's one of those years where they're going to get bounced early again. But, I mean, look at the roster. I'm looking at a 500 roster with AD and probably, Kyrie and Cooper, being that it's not it's a good roster, but other teams are just investing in so much. I don't know, investing in so much more, I guess, growth, long-term growth, instead of the now. Like, let's win for now.
Well, the Kyrie of it all has to really be frustrating if you're a Mavs front office person, in that, you see this more in football where if like a particular offensive lineman is out or if a wide receiver is out, it like changes the way the offense is like bends. But with the Mavericks right now, like not having any guards is just brutal. And friend of me of the show, Tim Bontemps, sort of spent part of his evening or one of his podcasts recently railing on the Mavericks for not getting Austin Reeves as part of the deal, because it's like, well, the Mavericks just need guards. And I let's just say right now that if you're content with Brandon Williams and D'Angelo Russell, I actually understand that. And if that's the case, what the Mavericks have to do is figure out these minutes distributions to where we're getting. Maybe they can't play together. I think they look pretty good together, but it's like if those are the only two you got, then you got to space out those minutes a little more, because this offense with the two of them, when both those two are off, is kind of unwatchable.
I don't know if you remember the box score for the first game, but the bench was very. They didn't score a lot, and I want to say that next game they kind of stepped up. So I wonder if Kid is like, man, looking at that first game, if he's just trying stuff. But I don't know. But yeah, I was surprised, and I put that in the chat earlier. I was surprised that D'Angelo Russell was a career 18 points per game person. Like,
yep.
That was shocking to me.
Yes.
But, and I was telling somebody earlier, like, PJ, he's earning his contract, but if your third or fourth option is leading the team, like, something's wrong. Like,
PJ, he's shooting when it leaves him. It seems to really leave him. he doesn't have like a 42% shooting game. He has like a 25% shooting game or like a 62% shooting game. Like there's no fine shooting game. It's a little painful. Tonight was definitely one of those for PJ.
it's definitely one of those. Like I don't know. And about the point guard thing, it seems like every team needs a point guard. Every team wants a point guard. Like the NBA is who it is. Like you're only going to get so many good point guards. You're only going to get so many good bigs. There's not a lot of talent going around. If it was, it wouldn't be so top heavy. Like to me, my opinion is it goes back to coaching.
Yeah.
Like look what Rick did when he went to Indiana. He instantly created a culture for winning. Like look at Detroit. They created a culture for winning. Like a lot of these teams are creating that culture for winning, and they're doing it through coaching. And I mean, some people don't believe that coaching works. In my opinion, those are two examples of where coaching works. And so, like, who's putting these guys in positions for success? Like, how is Dallas this? With these proven veterans playing like the old Mavs, like just out there just hooping in a way. Like to me, it goes back to like who's putting these guys in position for success.
Well, the Pistons were a pretty brutal matchup with the team that they brought because Dwight Powell looks effective for 10 to 15 minutes at most, but then what happens is he becomes Dwight Powell, and it's not his fault that he can't really physically match with a guy like Jalen Duren. It's frustrating, but what are you gonna do?
Kirk, he's 12. What's crazy? He's 12 years in the league, and it's like, man. And I think we talked about this before. Are they gonna hang his jersey up? He's 12 years in, and like
he's gonna be. Somebody once told me it's not the mayor that matters in Dallas. It's the city manager. Or are we gonna make Doyle the city manager, or not Doyle? Dwight Powell the city manager. That's what we could do. String it up that way. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you kicking us off.
Thank you, Kirk, man, and I hope you get some rest. Thank you, sir.
Talk to you soon. Okay, I'm gonna bring up my man Doe, who has been in and out of the chat like 5 times. I've seen him down there, but he said we're gonna add him. It's been a while. How you doing, brother?
Oh man, long time haven't been watching or doing anything. Just so many decisions with the organization that just pissed me off even further.
Sure.
Started to watch them a little bit, 1 or 2 games, and the next thing I know, they re-signed Kidd to 3 or 4 more years.
I kind of think that deal, they never disclosed years. I think basically last summer he got an extension, but it was a 1-year extension on top of whatever he had. Then this summer, the same thing. I think he's only under contract until like 2028. So it's not he's going to be coach until the end of time. But one of the things about the NBA is you can pay as many coaches as you want. There's no salary cap. And so it's not. So if they decide if that relationship runs its course, that's not something we have to worry about on our end.
Well, that's good for you to point out. But why the secrecy of not revealing the terms of the contract?
It's sometimes they're weird about that sort of stuff. I don't know why. I think that he probably doesn't want everybody to know that he's tied into that 3 to 4 year timeline Nico Harrison mentioned last summer. Or whenever he said. I guess it was after they traded Luka, whatever it is.
Yeah, and then some of the roster decisions. I mean, I like Dwight Powell, but I don't think he should be on the roster. I would rather have the other center that was playing really well toward the end of the season that we didn't re-sign even to a 2-way contract. I forget what his name was.
So they got a 2-way guy. They got a 2-way guy that they signed that's out in Frisco that I think you'll like a lot. That's really fun. But with the injuries they ran into the last 3 games, they're kind of in a rock and a hard place. Like Powell's not supposed to play. Like he's a mascot. He's been pressed into service is what I would say.
Well, the thing is, when he does play, I love his effort. Sure. I mean, like tonight, it was kind of bizarre that he didn't play the fourth quarter at all, and Durham sitting here just under crashing the boards like crazy. I mean, we had no one to fight for the boards at all with Durant at all. I mean, at least I would have some resistance if he was in.
Maybe.
And then
A few times he just went flying to the floor. Like Powell's he's got those high hips. It's sometimes it's difficult watching him because it's on offense he's fun. On defense he tries hard, but he's a paper bag where it's just you can knock him out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just tired of seeing Kidd making bad decisions too. In the closing lineup, I'm like, why do we have no ball handlers out there in the closing lineup? You know, it would be nice to see Russell with Brandon Williams instead of Najee Marshall or, you know, whoever. You know, I'm like, and then why wasn't Christie in there? He's hotter than PJ in shooting threes. I mean, in some of those sets, we could have changed offense for defense and rotated PJ back out on defense and then rotated Christie back in on offense to have more shooters when we're on offense the last 2 minutes, you know?
Well, the game for me, if you're criticizing coaching thoughts, I would settle on the second quarter when the Pistons went on that 21-2 run and Kidd just kind of hung out. Now,
no timeout.
Once he did call a timeout, the Mavericks ended the half on a 17-5 run, which was actually quite nice. But it's like Kidd's a difficult spot because I feel that the roster construction is so odd that I don't know how to really levy criticism other than in like spots where you're saying right now, hey, why did they have a ball handler in this key situation? Like that's a good one, but it's like overall the rotations, the minutes, they're just a weird team and they don't really work. And he's going to be forced to make it, or he's going to be forced to try.
Right. But starting Cooper as a point guard, to me, that doesn't make any sense. It's the hardest position in the NBA.
Sure.
Why would you start him as a point guard? I mean, you could play him, maybe with a second team as a point guard, but you're matching him up against top line point guards with an 18-year-old who's never played the position like that, much less in the NCAA. He didn't play that position very much. Now you're making him a point guard in the NBA as a starter.
Yeah,
how much sense does that make?
I mean, at least so one of the things you've not had to witness the last several games, and I think the chat can attest to this, is they've been playing Flagg at point guard, but a lot of times what he would do is he'd dribble the ball up the floor, make a pass, then go stand in the corner like he's late stage Ben Simmons. And at least this game, he was involved in a lot of the offense in a way that I found interesting. Like there were a couple... He made a couple of really nice reads that I really just enjoyed, like the process, even if the ball didn't go through the hoop. And so there's a lot of there. Now since you're just kind of coming back into the fold, the overarching question is the Mavericks will tell you that they're trying to make the playoffs while playing Flagg at point guard, and those two things are incompatible.
Yeah.
So if you buy into the first notion that you want him to get as much development as possible, then I think the second part is where we all have to sort of say, okay, they're saying one thing, doing another, but what they're doing, and then so as far as developing Flagg, I believe in it from a 50,000 foot view, and I'm just going to have to sort of accept the experts' opinions on this, even as I get frustrated with it game to game.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't mind them developing Flagg, but I hate the mixed messaging too. It's such a dysfunctional organization.
Well, but this comes out in the wash. Like they're 2-4 right now, and they play the Rockets on Monday. The Rockets are going to beat them like they stole something. The Rockets play a better version of what the Mavericks want to do. It's ugly as sin, but it's like I'm sitting there looking at this going, who's going to guard? Like who's going to deal with Steven Adams' big ass?
It's Sengun too. Who's gonna check him? He normally kills us even when we have a healthy lineup.
Yeah. So it's like some of this stuff just happens. It's like I'm looking at the schedule here, and I did this for a video for a new venture that I'm a part of, and they go Rockets. Who's after that? They go Rockets, New Orleans. If they happen to lose to New Orleans on Memphis, I'm sorry, they like this 4-game stretch, so include tonight, the Pistons, Rockets, New Orleans, Memphis. the Mavericks need to split this 4-game stretch at 500. They have to, because it's like they can't get 5-6 games under 500 this early in the year. Like you've got to tread some water before starting to raise the alarm flag.
Well, to be honest with you, I thought they're going to be a lotto team, even with everybody healthy, with the exception of Kyrie. It's just a dysfunctional, lack of ball handling group. And then you don't have really enough shooters. Really, I mean, Klay Thompson of 10 years ago, yeah, but Klay Thompson now, no. It's just an imbalanced group of people that you have. I thought they should have traded away Gafford and got something, another ball handler, maybe in the second tier realm of point guards that are someone better than Russell, but not as good as Kyrie, somewhere in between that. I mean, that's a huge gap, of course, but we have too much imbalanced lineup, in my opinion. And then Davis, you can't count on Davis to stay healthy. And I hate to say it, Lively's the same situation, in the first 2 years he's been in the league.
The Lively thing pissed me off because he looked really good in preseason, and then the first game of the year he got like the equivalent by Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama pulled his shirt over his head and punched him in the stomach. Like it was brutal. Like he just got his ass kicked, and that was the first time it ever happened. So it's like Lively, I was just expecting more from, and he just hasn't shown it yet.
Yeah, and another thing that worries me about too that I read in the offseason that I became aware of is the trainer situation. I mean,
they got new staff in there, and I can't. When things go bad, somebody has to be a fall guy, and I'm like, they did. The stuff McMahon wrote at the end of last year about where they ended up was not great, but they seem to be happy with who they have now, and so I have to give them, like I can't blame, for example, a training staff that Anthony Davis came into to training camp overweight. Like that's the thing that happened. It's not.
Right.
I don't want to say it's over with. That's not accurate. It has happened, and here we are. And so it's like, where do we go from here? And so I was bitching in the previous podcast. They say he's out for 2 games, and I'm like, I think he's out. Like, why not say he's out for 5 games? Like 5 games and reevaluate. Like 2 games tells me nothing. So he got hurt on a Wednesday. The Mavericks play on a Saturday and a Monday. Mm-hmm. So he's coming back 7 days later. It's like that doesn't make sense to me.
Well, it's just like last year. Last year they were way too, inaccurate too on the other end of the scale. So now they're being,
right.
A little bit impetuous from telling you something too soon.
That's right. That's right.
It's like, oh my God, what an organization, man. I mean, it's really hurting me. And this is flashing me back to the 90s, with the dysfunction in the organization, and the owners that don't really care. The Mavericks are just another property that they assessed, for a bigger deal to get a casino. Yeah. These aren't owners who are passionate about the team, Cuban overmanaged the team. He was a bad GM. We all know that. He was a really bad Jerry Jones toward the end, but at least he cared about the club. Yep. These guys don't care at all.
We'll find out. I mean, it's the arena's not particularly full right now, home games and stuff, and it's like I wonder if things are affecting the bottom line. So,
I didn't renew my tickets.
Glad to hear from you again.
Yeah, great to see you back up and everything, Kurt. I'll be tuning in a little bit more from time to time. I've been watching other NBA teams, just try to see, what it's like to have a winning team and a team that's professionally managed that has a culture.
Hey, I get it. But I'll tell you, he's not Luka. I want him to be Luka. But I got a very good feeling about Cooper Flagg, and I think you should continue to pay attention to that, is what I'll say.
I love that he plays hard, and the kid makes some pretty good decisions at times. He's only 18. A lot of people were complaining about him finishing, but one thing that people got to remember, he's only 18. Finishing, that takes strength, more than anything, and that takes time.
Yep. I agree.
So there's
I
a lot of
agree.
hope, on that end. But where else is the hope? Lively, you could say it, but he hasn't shown up. And then who else can we have hope for? Christie? I don't know. I mean, I don't see any other hope, Kirk.
Hey, well, we'll talk soon then. Don't worry about
All
it.
right.
It's going to
All
be
right.
okay. And if it's not okay, we'll at least be able to bitch together. So,
All right. Good hearing from you, sir.
I'll talk with you. Bye.
Yes.
Okay, closing us out then. I think we're going to have Jason here. Jason, what's up, brother?
Hey guys, I know it's a shitty game, but I think I'll try to be somewhat optimistic, at least because I feel like ass right now. But
Sure.
I think one thing that has turned around, and I'll give J-Kidd some credit, I'll give the locker room some credit. I think now they actually are playing pretty reasonably hard defensively, which honestly was an issue the first few games.
Yes. Yeah. I didn't like one of my constant criticisms. Actually, I was never really able to criticize Jason Kidd's team's efforts in previous seasons. Those first two games is readily apparent, and I think they've fixed a lot of that.
Is some of that because one big guy is not in the lineup? Maybe, but I don't want to get to that right now.
Maybe like he does the like, and you're referencing sometimes AD's weirdness after taking a shot, where him and Luka kind of do the same shit, where it's like they loaf back on defense. I don't know. I think that like defensive cohesion comes through repetition. And you can, and I mentioned this on one podcast with Josh and I, where I'm like, I don't like if they have trouble guarding elite guards, it's because there's no one on the team that can simulate that during a practice session. So it's like Brandon Williams does his best, but Brandon Williams is not Cade Cunningham, for example. It's like, so what do you do? So I think the only real way to learn and really like is experiential learning through which the Mavericks get their butts kicked and then maybe they figure it out. I mean, their defensive numbers don't look too horrendous when you start to investigate.
They're a top 10 defense on Mavericks,
yes,
which is impressive. It's
that their offense is horrendous. And tonight's not the best. They did better tonight, but it's large. That's a shooting performance outlier where they didn't score anything in the paint and they just hit a ton of threes relative to what they've been doing. So there's some there. It's just how long is it going to take for them to figure it out? And if they do eventually get to where they're happy with what they're doing, will they be close enough to make a run? Like that's what's I certainly think after 6 games, if you're feeling optimistic, good. Like this is not a quitting time thing for me. Like I get people that hit me up and say, "Oh, the Mavericks should tank," and I'm like, "There's 76 games left. Like what are this is not a thing."
Nico's not going to let them tank. That's
right.
just a fact.
Right? They might continue to lose, but that's not the same thing. So it's, I think that's a good point, man.
And like they've been this good on defense despite not having rim protection for half their games, and their offense being so shitty that they're always in transition. So I think they actually could be a top 5 defense, as crazy as that sounds right now. And I think PJ's look really good defensively. Same with Najee, same with Max. So I mean, those guys just switch along the wing. That is a solid foundation, I think.
Did you see that Najee Marshall hit his first 3-pointer of the season tonight?
That's insane to me. I don't know what happened to his shots.
I mean, he was so good the last year in New Orleans, and it's just the shots he takes now, they just don't look right.
Like, I just wonder if it's coaching. It's like, do they tell him to like not shoot? Like, do they just tell him, "Oh, get to your floater," which I love the floater, but you need to be able to space.
So I haven't looked into this year, and it's probably too small a sample size right now to really matter, but I remember like in previous seasons doing like a deep dive into Tim Hardaway and seeing how hilariously badly he shot if he took more than like 3 dribbles. Like it plummeted into like the high 20s. But if he was like just a pure catch and shoot guy, he hit like 50+% of his shots. Right. And Najee, when he's going downhill at the basket, like he makes great layups. But anytime I feel like he's getting his threes, they're not necessarily straight up catch and shoot threes.
They aren't. Like he called for one in the corner and like he pulled it up, but it was contested. And
that's a different shot because you're not like and people who don't. I just think I gotta explain. It's kind of like I don't like sounding presumptuous, but there's a time difference between having to reach up and catch a pass, bring it down and shoot versus getting the shot from Luka or another really good point guard who hits you in the shooting pocket and you're able to pull it up cleanly with nobody.
Totally.
It's just a different deal. So I think to me, that part is what's hurting because he'll take a dribble and shimmy and shake and then shoot a three. That's what made his one made three tonight so funny because it's actually an awful shot that went in.
It was, yeah.
Oh, well, anything else strike your fancy that you enjoyed?
I guess one thing that I don't enjoy, but I wonder how long Jay Kidd will be delusional about this, is just needing to start off strong, not losing quarters, the first quarter, the third quarter, the first 3 or 4 minutes till Clay goes out. And it's not necessarily Clay's fault, I feel. Like he made his threes today, but he got lots on some screens. And I looked at some of the advanced stats. He had an 80 offensive rating while on the floor and a 113 defensive rating. And that's not all him, I feel, but I feel that him going into these no point guard lineups and then everything getting gummed up, and it's just brutal.
That's really funny. I think you're right. All right, we got anything else?
No, that's pretty much it, but we'll see what happens against Houston. I'm not optimistic. Schenken's going to kill us. We'll see.
He's just so talented. And like that, even if the Mavericks were at full strength, I would have serious concerns for this game.
And Lively's not going to be back. We know that for sure. 80's also not going to be back. They said he's out. Dwight Powell, oh God, we'll see.
Lively's injuries are all so annoying. Because it's like when you break them down individually and you're like, oh, okay, he got hit on the side of the knee. It's a really bad bone bruise. And you're like, oh, okay, that's fine. But then you put it into a list of like all the others that he's had where it's like, okay, this is annoying. Please stop. It's driving me nuts.
Like you can't sell, but I don't know. Like I'm ready to sell, even though I know it's dumb.
All right, man. Hopefully see you Monday night, okay?
All right. Have a good one, guys.
All right. Talk to you. Okay, I'm going to head on out of here if nobody else wants to talk. Monday night, earlier game. Everybody be good. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Remember, clocks fall back an hour tonight, so don't be confused. I'll be confused because I got to get up with my kids in the morning because that is the business I have chosen. Everyone be good. Talk to you soon. Go Mavs.